Clarke Show. I'm your host, Nikki Clarke, and let's do a check. How's everybody doing? Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for being here on the show. This is a show where we transform lives one story at a time, and we've been doing it for 16 years. So, very, very grateful to have you here. I'm so excited to welcome a powerhouse in leadership and transformation, Michelle Walter, the CEO of Elevate and Empower Inc. And Michelle is a visionary who's dedicated her life to helping individuals and organizations rise to their highest potential. Please welcome Michelle.
Thank you, Nikki. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. Great to have you here. You look amazing.
Thank you very much. So do you.
Thank you so much. I try, you know. So I'm dying to know. Let's find out about your journey. What inspired you to create Elevate and Empowerment Inc.?
Well, it started in 2021 when I got sick during the pandemic with COVID. And both my husband and I got sick, and I was fine, but he ended up on a ventilator in the hospital for 2 months. And in early March, we had to say goodbye to him. And during my own grief journey...
So sorry.
Thank you. During my own grief journey, I realized that there was a lack of resources for women who were going through what I was going through. Being a midlife widow was very lonely and unsupported. And so I decided to pivot, like many self-employed people did during the pandemic.
The great pivot.
Yes, I had to pivot from general life coaching to wellness and grief coaching. And that's why I chose to do that. And Elevate and Empower just came about because I feel like I wanted to create a space that had all of the resources that I felt I was lacking at the time of my own journey.
Well, that's I'm very sad to hear about the passing of your husband, unexpected.
Thank you.
And I can understand those moments when you kind of recall the passing of someone very special, like my brother, for example. In 2018, he succumbed to heart failure at 45.
Okay.
So that really threw myself and my family into kind of a whirlwind of emotions. And it's taken us some time to overcome. And I hear, people say every now and then, well, enough time has passed and you should just kind of get over it.
Yeah.
What do you say about grief and time?
Grief has no time limit, and your grief is going to be different from my grief, will be different from their grief and the other person's grief. Nobody grieves in the same way, and there is absolutely no time limit. People who are going through grief need to give themselves some space and some permission to feel the feelings and the emotions that they're going through.
Right. So grief has many dimensions to it. It's not necessarily the passing of someone, but there can be different parts of grief. Can you talk about that?
Well, traditionally, they say that there was 5 stages of grief. Now it's been studied we've noticed now in studies that grief is more of a lifelong kind of journey. It's not something that you have to get over. It's not something that you can fix. It is, it's a journey. It's a process. And everybody goes through it differently. You go through the stages differently. They're not linear. There's no order. It's based on the person who's going through the grief.
Right. And grief doesn't necessarily have to mean a death. It can be just a loss, right?
Yes, absolutely. So it could be a divorce. You could lose a job. You could lose a relationship. It doesn't have to be a death. It just has to be a loss.
It just has to be a loss.
Yes.
So can you talk about the defining moment when you knew this was your calling?
I think it was going through my own loss. Going through my own loss and finding it very lonely and not... I wanted to be a guide for other women who are going through the same thing. I just wanted to be that flashlight for them when they're walking through the darkness, right?
And can you tell us more about like the mission and the services that you offer?
Elevate and Empower is the company, but I have something that I call the Elevation Hub. And it is a community of like-minded women, and that's where I have all the resources. We do grief retreats, we do workshops, I do one-on-one, we have groups. There's a book club, there's journaling. So all of the resources that I felt like I was lacking at the time, I'm trying to put them in the Elevation Hub.
Okay. So who do you primarily serve, and how do you help people, achieve transformation that they're looking for?
The company is definitely centered around midlife widowed women. And Elevate and Empower came about. Elevate it represents the emotional lift that grieving women need during that time. And Empower is just that journey back to self. Because when you are no longer in the role of wife, mother, whoever you've lost, you kind of have almost like an identity crisis. Right. Who am I now without that person? What is my role? Right. So this is what I am trying to help grieving women go through this transformation or this transition in life smoother than you would have to go through it by yourself.
Excellent. So you've created a community.
Yes, absolutely.
Which is fantastic.
Yes.
So tell me about empowerment and what that means to you.
I feel like I can hold space and have a bigger vision for these women who are grieving, because when you're in the midst of your grief, you can barely see past tomorrow. Mm-hmm. So I hold space for them for the bigger picture. And I am living, breathing proof that you can suffer a devastating loss and transform your life for the better and turn your pain into purpose.
Awesome. So you talked about the community that have gravitated to you with the services. How do you do like a needs assessment? So someone is interested in learning more about your services. So what is the approach to get them set up?
Well, I have a bunch of resources that I offer for free that are just little guides to help you take that first step in your grief. So usually that's how it's done. They'll take that first step. They'll usually take a survey or something like that, and I assess that way if I am able to help you or if I can direct you to somebody else who can better help you.
Excellent. So can you tell us a success story of someone who came through your services and they've been transformed?
Okay, I can tell you. We'll call her Grace for the sake of the show. And she came very withdrawn and overwhelmed with her grief even 2 years after the death of her husband. And, she was still showing up for her kids and her family and everybody else, but she wasn't showing up for herself. And at the end of a 3-day retreat workshop, she was very confident. Now she was sharing her story. Before, she felt guilty to even feel joy or to laugh. And now she was laughing and sharing her story. And you could see the transformation in her within the 3 days.
Fantastic. And how long has she been with you as a client?
For me, she's no longer with me now, but she had been with me at the time for maybe 6 months or so.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah. Amazing. Amazing transformation. Congratulations on
Thank
that. So tell us what's next.
What's next for me? Well, I am right now scouting locations to host my own grief retreat, because that's the growing trend now, grief travel. So I'm scouting locations for summer 2026.
Oh.
So that's what I'm about. And if anybody wants to find out further about that, then they can visit my website at elevatedempowerinc.com.
Excellent. Well, I have an idea. How far do you want to go? How about Zanzibar? I'm taking a group there in January.
Are you?
Yeah.
Oh, yes, I saw that. I did
A
see that.
curated experience.
Yes, I
Yeah,
did
think
see
about
that.
it.
I did see that. And when is that going to be? January?
January 2026.
Okay, yeah, I'm looking for the summer
That's
kind of
okay,
thing.
we
Because
could go
I didn't
back.
think that I'm not sure if I want to leave Canada, right? Because of the women that I'm serving. So we might stay in Canada.
Local, yeah. But I'm sure so many beautiful places in Ontario. It truly is.
There are.
yeah,
There really are.
When they say, the more to discover in Ontario, it really, like, I don't
It
think
is.
I've even finished the entire province,
Yes.
taking a look at what is
Yeah,
out
Canada's
there.
huge. There's a lot to
Absolutely,
offer. Yeah.
absolutely. Again, tell us where to find you on social media.
On social media, you can find me at Michelle Walter Wellness, and I am the host of the Let's Talk Mindset podcast, anywhere you get your podcasts. And again, the website is elevateandempowerinc.com.
Excellent. Michelle, it's a pleasure. I love listening to the amazing transformations that you're, helping to support people along their journey. And you're welcome back anytime.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll be back.
Awesome. All right. Thank you so much. Michelle Walter, CEO of Empowerment. All right. Well, thank you again, Michelle Walter. Really appreciate you being here, and we will be right back.
Hey everyone, it's Nikki Clarke. I have something super special for you. I'm about to have the time of my life in Zanzibar, and I want you to join me. Imagine this: beachside karaoke, acoustic soul performances, stunning sunsets on white sandy beaches, excursions full of adventure, pure relaxation, and living our best lives. Let's make this dream a reality together. Email me now at nikki@nikkiclarkenetwork.com for more information. Join me for an unforgettable escape to Zanzibar.